it's like interesting because I think on a sort of like smaller level in terms of like finding projects and the sort of like more unfurling, I guess, of like aesthetic choices and directions, I think for me is like at least in part guided by curiosity. I mean, I'm sure some of it is like intuition and stuff, but definitely a large part of it I think is always just discovering things that I'm like, wait, that's so interesting. Like, okay, and then I mean, the first piece I did with electronics, I remember it was a violin piece, a solo violin and electronics piece, and I'd like just heard like the Bach partita in D minor and like Fratres by Arvo Pärt, and I was like, Andrew May, my teacher at the time, was like also a violinist and an amazing electroacoustic composer, like Max and PD like guru, and I remember thinking like, I have to learn how to write this baryolage thing. Like, I don't know. Like, that is fascinating. Like, I need to figure out how to do this. And then I like did this thing with electronics and I was like, oh, well, this is a door that I just can't like walk back through. Like
Oh yeah.
I'm on the other side now. Like there's no way to undo this. And and I find that happens every now and then. Like it's like a curiosity led thing that you discover this thing and you're like, well, I'm never going to be the same again because now I've learned this thing now. So, but it is hard. And like, it's also, I also find that it's hard to like, especially when you're young and or early in a practice of any kind, probably like no matter your age, right? It's like, I feel like it's also hard to sort of learn how to like trust people like who are giving you feedback or input on your work and like what to take and what not to take, like what parts of that is like, no, you should like trust yourself because it's your instinct, and like what are the things that are like would be beneficial for you to listen to and absorb from somebody else, like, and that's gotten a little bit easier with age. I mean, I'm always trying new things, and so then it kind of always feels like this process restarts of like, well, I don't know. I'm in uncharted territory. So I guess I will take your advice, person who knows more about this thing than me. And maybe that's unavoidable to some extent. It's in that, I guess everybody has to decide for themselves, right? How much they want to listen to somebody else versus, trust their inner voice. But yeah, I mean, definitely to connect to the music. I mean, especially in our world, I don't really like if you're not connected to the what you're making, and maybe who you're making it for is maybe the other, and who you're making it with, like,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess that's what it would be for me. It's like if you're not connected to what you're making, who you're making it for, or who you're making it with, then I'm not totally sure why, like what the point of doing this is. Like I don't think you're going to get rich, so like
Right.
I
Yeah,
don't
for
know,
sure.
like it, like if you're not going to get rich and you're not connected to it, then maybe
Yeah.
it's time to reconsider, right? Like,
Yeah, for sure.
so
So you might have already answered this. I think maybe,
it's
but
possible.
I'll ask you anyway. What was the defining moment when you knew that you either wanted to or could pursue this craft as a career? I'm guessing maybe the Ashley Bathgate piece, but maybe not.
I yeah, I don't even know. It's like funny, like, do I even know that now? I don't know. Like it's an interesting question. Like, I mean, it's a hustle. I mean, I definitely have like 6 or 7 income streams. Like things are
Yeah,
just
yeah,
coming
yeah,
from where, and that equation might in a year might look totally different. But yeah, I mean, I guess that year, like coming out of writing On Letting Go, which is the piece I wrote for Ashley, and when that sort of started getting some recognition, and honestly, again, it was more like mentors, people in the field that were just telling me to I mean, they didn't say it this way, but the message basically was to like have faith. Like they didn't use those words, but it's like this thing where it's like, well, I can't see it, but apparently you can see it. Like you're in these positions and you're telling me that I think you got this, and I'm sort of on the other side, like, I don't know, like, do I, like, I mean, I get, like, it's not like nothing is happening, but like, it's pretty hard and there's not much to go around. And like, even the big award, even now, literally right now, right? It's like the big awards are disappearing or
hmm
they're shrinking, and there's few, I mean, it's not getting any easier. So it's kind of still, it's a continual, algebra, I guess. you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, I feel that. I appreciate it.
as somebody without like an academic job, right? I mean, I guess if you're like, if there are routes, I guess, right, where it's
Yeah.
like, okay, great, we have tenure and health insurance and everything's great, and you know what I mean. And but for freelancers, I mean, it's like, I'm a composer, I'm a performer, I teach a small private piano studio. I'm now the executive and artistic director of Synchrony. Like I take odd composing jobs, like I do reductions for people. I'm like scoring a short film right now. It's like, there's no shortage of things that are, being done for money. But I'm very grateful, of course, that that's true and that, all this is happening. So, anyways.
Yeah, totally. So, uh, this nonlinear path that you've had into composition, playing in bands, studying psychology, and then you dove feet first into the deep end into composition. I mean, looking back, what do you think those detours, even if they can even be called that? Again,
Mm.
it sounds like you were just riding the waves of your intuition. I mean, but what have those changes, I guess, taught you that formal training maybe never could?
Well, it's funny because I remember, my first year at USC, I was studying with Ted Hearn, and I think at the end, I was like near the end of that year. I mean, because I feel like it takes a time. It takes some time for you and a teacher of any kind to sort of get to know each other. And I remember we were having a lesson, and he said something like, "Wow, it's like so interesting to see how you rework your material over and over and over, and like you go down all these different paths in the piece that end up like they turn out to like actually not be the path of the piece, but maybe it's just part of your process."
Yeah.
And I was like, that's so interesting because it certainly feels that way, like on a sort of micro and macro level. Like it sort of seems like, oh, that kind of is the thing, is like just going down these little paths and then being like, oh, I guess it's not that. Like oh, and I guess it's not that either. Like, oh, it's this one. Okay, this is what it is, right? And so that's where, for me, I don't know that it's not necessarily something that formal training could teach you, but maybe it's not talked about as much. But just, this idea again of just like, what are you interested in? Like, what is just driving your curiosity? And like, I don't know, I guess if you're not a curious person, I don't know what to say, but if you have like a curious sort of inclination, I think that's like really important actually to just, and then I think also another thing from a teacher, from Andrew May, actually, I remember when I was really not sure about grad school, I was like very torn about, I don't know, should I go, should I not? Like, how do I do this? And another very important lesson I remember was, he said, well, it's your right as a human being to gather the evidence, form a hypothesis, and then test that hypothesis. And that was kind of an eye-opening moment for me of like, oh, I guess that's really all anyone can do.
Yeah.
Just like in life, right? It's like, no, we don't know anything for certain. We're just all making our best guess,
Yep.
you know? So, what was your question?
I mean, I think it was what has your path taught you, I guess, about composition that,
Right.
that
Yes.
otherwise you wouldn't have learned. And to me, it sounds like your process as an artist somehow reflects your path, which is maybe the first time anyone's like kind of explicitly connected them in that way, which is really cool.
I think that I mean it's fine. I'm actually like weirdly of the camp. Maybe it's not weird. I don't know. I actually really I think I believe this. I think I believe that like if you look at something you made, you can see your life in it somehow. I mean, you have to find it, but like I think it's there. Whether even if it's like I've looked at like abstract instrumental, whatever you want to call them, like non-narrative, abstract instrumental pieces of mine. And if I look at it like hard enough, I'm like, oh yeah, I see why I'm doing this transition
Yeah.
here. It's because of this thing that's happening in my life. And I want this. I wish it felt like this. And this is why it's like coming out in my music this way, is because that's not what's happening in my life. And I wish it was like this. Or the other way around, where it's like, oh, it sort of feels like this is what's happening. And so this is what, so I don't know. I mean, it's just, one person's thought, but I sort of I feel like most people's work is probably more autobiographical than they might think if they don't already think that.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying, and it brings to mind, as I've gotten, I keep saying as I've gotten older, but I don't know if it's quite has to do with that.
Hmm.
Um, as I get older, or as I progress further down this path, the music I write is becoming more drawn out. Moments are lingering.
Hmm.
I'm being more patient with the material. More silence, more rest, space, all that kind of stuff is starting to kind of dominate the work that I make. And it dawned on me, I think late last year, that my day job in radio is so deadline oriented. I need to get this
Oh,
thing recorded by this time so that it goes out over the radio at
yeah.
this time. And it like clicked for me that, oh, the music I'm making is in opposition to that.
Yeah, it's like
Eh,
in reaction, right? Yeah, it's
yeah,
like it's a
exactly.
reaction to your I think that's so interesting. Like, I mean, I'm just like always, and I mean, who are we to project this like on anybody else? But I don't know. I do think like it just is worth I mean, I don't know. I've like every now and then I come across a composer who's like, my work has no extra musical context of any kind. Like it's just purely this thing that has it's not related to other composers' works. Like it's not related to like anything in life. It's not, and I'm like,
I don't think
okay,
that's
really?
I don't think that's possible.
I don't exactly. I'm like, I
Yeah,
don't know that, yeah, I don't, I'm really not sure that that's possible. And obviously I'm actually so far in the other camp that I'm like, nope, it doesn't matter what you make, how abstract
yeah,
it is. It has something to do with you and your life because it came from you. How is it possible that it has nothing to do with you? You're the one who made it, you know?
for sure, for
So,
sure. Thank you so much for tuning in to Micromaker by Loose Leaf Transmissions. We hope you enjoyed this brief glimpse into the inner workings of the creative life. If this resonated with you, be sure to check out the full conversation on Music Maker with Tyler Klein, a podcast exploring craft and process, philosophy and inspiration, and the honest, often messy parts of being an artist, creative uncertainty, purpose and identity, and resilience. You can find Music Maker wherever you get your podcasts or by visiting musicmakerpodcast.com.